I'm Tanika Landrum, and I'm going to talk about the chronological accuracies and accuracies of Christopher Columbus and the discovery, and in 1492, the conquest. First, I want to start with the chronological events of Christopher Columbus and the discovery. I believe that most of the events in the chronological were hard to understand or confused. First, they portrayed Christopher Columbus as being, heroic. Um, they they would explain some of the time periods in the first half of the film, how he wanted to get permission from the king and queen to go on his voyage, and then you didn't know how long the voyages were or how many trips he took until finally it said it took like 32 days and he made like the 4 voyages to America. Um, Other than that, in the movie of uh, Discovery, the characters didn't age much in that movie. Um, Even Christopher Columbus didn't look like he aged much, but I believe that most of the film was inaccurate, just depicting the times and periods that Christopher Columbus went through. Um, I believe the storyline was mostly accurate, but the way it was depicted was very off to me. Next, I'm going to talk about in the movie 1492, The Conquest. I believe that they did an excellent job in this film in um, going over the chronological events of it. First, to start off with, they broke down each time and event by date, um, starting with the fall of Granada that happened somewhere in January or the beginning of 1492. It had the timeline and the date, and then they went to this to August 3rd of 1492. It showed how Columbus did take his trip on the voyage on the 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. And in there it showed how long that the crewmen and Christopher Columbus was on the ship. I believe it said it was 9 weeks, and they were starting to wonder if they had been lied to or tricked. They were only expecting several weeks on the ship. Then we moved to going to October 12th, the Hawaii Island, which was when Columbus found the other side, the new one, and he called it San Salvador. Um, After that, they moved on to coming back to Spain because one of his crewmen was very sick and staying several months there. Um, Once they got back, I think the next thing was um, Haiti. I'm sorry, and in Haiti is where his men end up staying. 39 men end up staying in Haiti, and that was in December 5th of 1492. And he took back his very sick man back to Spain and stayed there for a while. He did make another voyage back in November 28th of 1493, where he went to the West Indies. Um, and later on, he ended up getting where he had imprisonment, and that was, I believe, in 1501 or something like that. So it was more in detail and date wise on this movie compared to the discovery of Columbus. I think it was more accurate in this movie. Also, the aging process of Christopher Columbus, you could tell he was getting older at the end, along with his sons, Ferdinando and Ferdinand and Diego. Many of the other characters, though they tried to establish they had aged a little bit, I believe his love interest Beatrice, and they showed